what's up, everybody? Tim here, back at you with another Lost Classic. Again, happy to be back in my office and still wearing my skull cap, even though it's like 78 or 79 degrees in North Florida in early fall. Again, still haven't had time to shave my head, so I don't really want to show the world, how shaggy and half bald I truly am. So, hence the hat. So, what I want to focus on today is a little bit of hair metal, namely a band called the Bulletboys. Bulletboys formed in 1986 in Los Angeles, headed up by vocalist Mark Torin, I'm not sure how to say his last name. He was in the band Rat, actually, in the early days before they got signed. There's also Mick Sweeto on guitar, Lonnie Vincent on bass, and Jimmy DeAndo on drums. This was the core lineup that made their first three records, the self-titled Bulletboys, 1991's Freak Show, and 1993's Zaza. And then that lineup broke up, and Mark Torin has kept some form of the Bulletboys alive for most of the years since, with a revolving door of musicians. I think, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this year, or maybe late last year, the original lineup got back together and played a show with the Whiskey. And I think last I heard, they were making some new material. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that, because they are really a great band, and with COVID pretty much shutting down the concert industry, they really have nothing on their hands but time. So hopefully we'll get some new Bulletboys soon. But the album I really want to focus on is their debut record, simply titled The Bulletboys. It's got this cool cover here with the bullet going through the apple. This was released in 1988. It was produced by Ted Templeman. Anybody that knows music history has probably seen Ted Templeman's name before. He was the guy that produced all of the David Lee Roth Van Halen albums from the late 70s through the early to mid 80s. He was also the gentleman that produced what was supposed to be the first Aerosmith comeback record in 1985 called Done with Mirrors. So those are some of his highlights. But he did produce Bulletboys, and I think originally they were kind of building the Bulletboys to kind of be the next Van Halen. No, I'm not going to argue whether or not that was, a little bit lofty. But again, if you like, just very stripped down, basic, sleazy, dirty ass rock and roll from Los Angeles in the 80s, this is one of the best. This is one of the bands that did it better than anybody else. This album, there's 10 tracks on it. All 10 of them are great. Starts off with Hard as a Rock, which, never mind the lyrical content of the song. The song itself is extremely hard and heavy and fast and just a great way to start the record. Smooth Up In Ya, which is probably their most popular song, their biggest hit, their biggest MTV hit, is the second song on the record. They have a song called Ode to Joe, which is kind of a tribute to Aerosmith, ironically. And the song where, if you can hear it in the background right now, they did a cover of For the Love of Money, which is fantastic. Was another pretty big hit for these guys, MTV-wise. Hell on My Heels, another great song. Badlands, Kissin' Kitty, F9. The songs just go on and on. Fantastic record. Totally underrated. It's their biggest hit, don't get me wrong, but it was only certified gold for like 500,000 sales. And unfortunately, nothing they did after it ever even came close to matching the success of this record. But I don't think this record gets the respect that it deserves, when you really think about the overall landscape of hair metal, especially in the late 80s. Because by 88, everything was all Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi, and Def Leppard, which are all great. But, there were a lot of cheesy, like really clean-cut bands, coming out all over the place. They had big hair, but they were all clean cut looking. This was really one of the last like dirty, sleazy bands that came out of Los Angeles, and they're fantastic. So, since this is called Inside the Vinyl, let's go ahead and take a look inside the record. Again, here's the cover with the bullet going through the apple. If you turn the record over, you can see there's a picture of the band as well as a track listing. Let's see. Oh. And if we take out the record sleeve, you've got some cartoon drawings on one side of the sleeve. And then on the other side, one big cartoon drawing. It's kind of cool. Kind of looks like a lot of stuff that you would see on a punk rock record from like the mid to late 90s. But, that's not what this is. We pull the sleeve out. It's pretty much your standard Warner Brothers sticker in the middle. It's just got the Warner Brothers logo with the band's name and album title with the tracks. Nothing too spectacular there. No gatefold, no nothing. And And again, this is 1988, so by then vinyl was kind of on its way out, you know, and things like this weren't that easy to find, and I think they were more focused on the CD booklets and cassette tape booklets and all that, more so than the vinyl. I think I actually paid like $20 for this. And if I'm not mistaken, it might have still been in shrink wrap. I'm not entirely positive. No, it wasn't, because otherwise I wouldn't have this sticker over here. So unfortunately, I can't get that off without tearing up the cover. So it is what it is. But fantastic record. You know, if you're into 80s rock, I suggest checking this out. It's a classic. It's an underrated classic. I'm sure you'll know Smooth Up In You, but every other song on the record is just as good. So check that out. And if you listen to this record and you think that's not enough Bulletboys, check out their second record. It's called Freak Show. This came out in 1991. And while it did not match the success of this record, and I don't think overall it's as good as the debut record, there are some cool tracks on here. Most notably, the lead single, which was called THC Groove. Let me take this out of the sleeve so you can see it better. The lead single, which was called THC Groove, as well as a cover of another song called Hang On St. Christopher. Probably one of the coolest songs I've ever heard, and possibly my favorite Bulletboys song, but overall not my favorite record. I still think the debut record is better. And if that's still not enough, I definitely would recommend picking up or downloading, because I think it's the only way it's available, their third record, Zaza. Not as good as these other two, but still pretty, you know, pretty comparable, pretty decent. And again, you know, if you're needing more Bulletboys than these two records, it's not a bad way to go. I guess that's about all I got on this. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you got something out of it. Maybe you want to go listen to the Bulletboys. Check out some of my other videos. I've got several Lost Classics and unboxing videos. I've also got some concert footage out there from various festivals. And, you know, if you watch all that stuff and it's just not exciting enough for you, I've got some really, really mediocre disc golf videos out there with me and my friends out playing disc golf very poorly. So maybe check those out too. I don't know. But again, if you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. Hopefully now that I've got my office back, there'll be more of these coming. I think I'm about to have shoulder surgery, so I'm going to have a lot of time to put these together. So be on the lookout. There'll be more coming. I've got a whole list of albums that I would like to do a Lost Classic on. And I also want to do something in the future regarding live records and, you know, what I think are some of the best live records out there. I don't know if that'll be one show or several shows with, you know, focusing on one record each. I'm not sure. More to come on that. But again, subscribe to my channel and we'll see you next time. Peace out.